the sun and fun of South Florida. These fans have come to Homestead for that and more, to salute and celebrate a new champion. Tony Stewart fans have come carrying the flag of the former champ, and they are ready to raise another one. But their racing rivals are not ready to surrender. Tony Stewart, the man everyone is chasing, a 52-point lead in the Nextel Cup Championship standings. On his way to the drivers' meeting just about an hour ago, Jimmy Johnson, for the second straight season, he comes to Homestead with a shot at the championship. Carl Edwards, his first full season in the Nextel Cup Series, another championship contender. And Greg Biffle, 5 wins this year, wants one more win and the trophy. They've all come to South Florida where the days are always bright. But for one man, this night will be even brighter. Here is the starting grid for today's running of the Ford 400. Carl Edwards, a championship contender on the pole, next to Ryan Newman, who won the Busch race here yesterday.
Casey Kane, potential winner on the inside of row 2. Kyle Busch, the winner last week in Phoenix, on the outside.
Row 3 on the inside, Mark Martin, and on the outside, Casey Mears.
Back in row 4, championship contender Greg Biffle starts alongside Jamie McMurray, his last ride in the 42 car.
On the inside of row 5, Dale Jarrett and Joe Nemechek takes the Army on the outside.
Row 6 on the inside, last ride for Dave Blaney in the 07 car. On the outside, 4, Jeff Gordon.
In row 7, Jeremy Mayfield and Kevin Harvick.
Rookie Reed Sorensen on the inside of row 8 will run full-time Nextel Cup in 2006. Jeff Burton on the outside.
Inside row 9, Matt Kenseth driving the 17th car. On the outside, Brian Vickers.
In row 10, you'll find Mike Bliss. And starting 20th in car 20 on November 20th, Tony Stewart, the championship leader.
Row 11 on the inside, Bobby Labonte, his last drive in the 18 car. David Strimmy, who will compete in 2006 for Ganassi on the outside.
Row 12, side, Elliott Sadler likes his chances today. On the outside, driving the 4 car today will be Todd Bodine.
Row 13, Ricky Rudd, 788th consecutive start. Then he's going to step away for a while next to Sterling Marlin, who's leading that ride at the end of this race.
Scott Wormer on the inside of row 14 and Kevin LePage on the outside.
Row 15, Jeff Green on the inside, and Travis Quapple starts outside of row 15.
In row 16 on the inside, Scott Riggs and Jimmy Johnson second in Nextel points on the outside of 16th row.
Take a look at the rest of the starting grid today, and Wally's going to jump on the radio.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Mark Martin. Hey, Mark, this is Wally in the booth. Can you hear me?
Hey, Wally.
Well, you've had a fun weekend. You've raced everything that's been here, trucks and the Busch car. How's your Cup car today?
Oh, man, this thing is really good. I got a great car here with a Viagra Ford and really fantastic team on pit road. If this racetrack will come to us a little bit, you know, going into the darkness here and we make right adjustments, I think we can have a good shot to win this thing.
Well, you guys have been awfully strong this year. I know you got a lot of people pulling for you today, so good luck.
Hey, Wally, I appreciate it, and I'd just like to say, if we don't win it, I'd sure like to see Rusty Wallace win it or Ricky Rudd.
Here is how the NASCAR Nextel Cup point system works. If you win, you get 180 points. Second place gets 170. The top 6 rather, 5 points apart. It drops off 5 points for each position. Get back to 7th, it drops off 4 points for each position. Back to 12th, all the way through 43rd, it drops off 3 points for each position. So you can see, the closer you finish to the front, the more points you will get. The most you can gain in one race, 156. That's why only 4 drivers are still eligible. 5 bonus points for leading a lap, and 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. And that could be big here today.
10 points might be huge. 1992 Atlanta Motor Speedway. Alan Kulwicki led the most laps. By doing so, won the championship.
And last year, the margin, 8 points, as Kurt Busch won the title. Pace car to pit road. Carl Edwards brings them to the green flag, the Ford 400. The championship race is underway.
Said he was going to talk to Ryan Newman about letting him lead that first lap. So far, it's looking good to get those 5 bonus points for the 99.
Ryan may not have a choice on that. Carl Edwards had a pretty good start.
Here he comes. Here comes Newman trying to spoil that bid for 5 points.
Edwards got it. 5 bonus points for Carl Edwards, one of the 4 championship contenders. Now Ryan Newman to the front.
Like the Busch race yesterday, we see those Penske cars, like Marty Snyder, running very fast down the straightaways.
The 5 car, Kyle Busch, got a terrific start, but yeah, comes the 9 car of Casey Kane. A lot of guys in the garage here talking about this 9 car being awesome.
And that's quite a story as well, that car they've brought here.
So, Marty, did those guys have a conversation about leading the lap?
BP, they did have a conversation, and actually Ryan told Carl that he needed the 5 points too. So they worked out a deal that Carl would lead the first lap, then Ryan would go by.
Well, that's what happened. And now it's up to Carl to catch Ryan, but it doesn't look like that's going to work very well.
And everybody else.
Ryan Newman, 6th in the championship standings.
Nemechek in the 0-1 car, way up high.
Tony Stewart started 20th, up to 16th. Alan Bestwick.
Here is the slogan for the day for the 20 team, Bill. Mistake-free. Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli telling me just moments ago before the car rolled off the grid, if we have a mistake-free day, we'll be in good shape. That's what we have to do.
Well, I tell you what, if he can run that line that he is running now, if he can run this low on the racetrack and not get loose, he will have a fantastic day.
And one thing about being mistake-free too as a race car driver, you got to give everybody a little bit more room today than you normally would. Don't get in that situation where you're going to put yourself in trouble.
Because if the guy makes a mistake, you become part of it.
Right, and he's going to take you and him out.
Jimmy Johnson last time by still 30th position.
An update from Dave Burns.
And Bill, before you start any race, especially a championship race, you need to give each other a little pep talk.
That's what I've been working for all year. Season finale. Go out there, have a good race. There's a good solid top 10 finish, top 5 finish. Hell, you never know, maybe go home with the trophy. Do everything we can, everybody. Each and every one of us. Have a great day today. Focus all day, guys. No mistakes. Pour it out from your heart, and we'll see where we end up.
Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus, they also talked about consistency. It's what wins championships. Chad reminded him, I've been saying that for the last couple of years. Matt?
Greg Biffle working the bottom, trying to take over that 5th position from Casey Mears. Now he's on the high side. Now Greg told me that after almost winning the Busch race last night, the biggest thing he learned was this track did not tighten up at all. They were so surprised the track remained free most of the night. They went into this race with that knowledge they feel like will be a big advantage for later on tonight.
Casey Mears trying to get that spot back, and Jeff Gordon's going to try to give a little bit of a push, but pulls back high.
These teams rolled in here on Friday thinking this track was going to be a tight racetrack and will get tighter as the weekend went along. And at some point on Friday, it just had a total character change, and it's been a very loose racetrack ever since.
And again, that's what they were talking about last night. As the temperature cools off, as the track cools off, usually they get more grip and the cars do tighten up. But sometimes the front grips even better, and that makes the car looser. Alan?
BP, what was that word you just used, starting with L?
Loose.
First word from Jeff Gordon on his radio. Right there, turns 3 and 4. The back end is got a little less grip than he would like. And I think we'll hear a lot of that until the sun goes down. I think that a lot of this right now is riding it out until the sun goes down and the temperature changes. Matt?
AB, when the 24, Gordon was reeling in Biffle, they said it looks like Gordon is really working well on the bottom, just making you aware of it. You may want to give it a try.
A lot of different guys using different lines around this racetrack, and as we watch these cars, Some guys seem to favor the high line here early in the race as well.
If Gordon is loose, he's going to be running that high line. He's not going to be, which he is right now. He's up on top of the racetrack. You can't run the bottom if you're loose because you've got to turn the car too much when you're down on the bottom of the racetrack. And if you're loose, it's going to get sideways.
Gordon is 11th in the championship standings. That's a $1 million payday for whoever finishes 11th in the final points. And they get a trip to the stage at the Waldorf Astoria in New York during the championship banquet. Carl Edwards started from the pole, got his 5 bonus points, runs second. We drop back to Gordon. Gordon running 5th. Championship standings in the early portion of the race. The names in yellow in the ticker at the top of the screen, the 10 drivers that made the chase for the Nextel Cup, but only 4, Stewart, Edwards, Biffle, and Jimmy Johnson, eligible for the championship today. Ryan Newman was extremely strong here yesterday in the Busch race. Into the day in victory lane. He's out front early in the Ford 400. The caution has just come out for championship contender Jimmy Johnson.
And the right rear tire has exploded on the 48 car.
It looked like it was low, and Biffle was right. I mean, the tire looked low when we got a shot of it. Got to listen to what that car's telling you. Jimmy Johnson knew something was wrong. Right in front of the leader, Jeff Gordon.
His teammate.
And there's the end of his championship hopes right there.
Jimmy Johnson, second in the championship standings. The last 2 seasons was hoping to get.
That is the leader in your mirror.
That's right. That is the leader. So he tries a little bit harder, but there's nothing he can do with that flat tire. There we see the tire blow just before he spun. The outside tire lost the air.
Backing in the fence left side.
We heard him say, I don't know what this car is doing.
Well, like I said, I mean, he knew something was wrong with that race car.
Fluid tire.
And,
Great job. Good season.
you know, one of those deals you hate to come in,
Yep.
you know, but
If you don't,
caught up with him.
yes, it does. Yes, it did. You end up in the wall. So now, 3 men alive in the chase for the Nextel Cup as the field comes to pit road. Matt Yoakum.
Greg Biffle won here last year, climbed up to 4th. Some number of adjustments going to take place in the 16 car. They're going to push a spring rubber in again on the right rear. The chassis adjustment already completed. The car was getting tight at the end of that run. To Dave Burns, to Allen.
Well, Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards, who have been going back and forth for the race lead in. Gordon's team going to make an adjustment to try and tighten his car up just a little bit. Carl Edwards' crew the last 2 weeks have done a phenomenal job getting him off pit road first. And you see Tony Stewart, bottom of the screen, wants more of the adjustment they got last time because it didn't help enough. Marty?
Second in the championship and second on the track. Carl Edwards leaves pit road with the lead this time. He said it was a little tighter on that run. They took a ½ pound on the right front tire.
Very strong pit stop by Carl Edwards' team.
How about that Mike Bliss comes out in 7th position in the 0 car.
There's the race off of pit road, won by Edwards.
Oh, good, right. Good pit stop by the 12 crew. Beats Jeff Gordon by about a fender.
Mark Martin and Casey Mears, Kevin Harvick. Jimmy Johnson, his low Chevy back in the garage for repairs. Johnson out of the car and out of the championship chase.
Back at Homestead Miami Speedway, a crowd gathering around the garage area where Jimmy Johnson's car now sits, damaged. Talk about the fact that you knew you had a problem, but not wanting to pit under green.
Yeah, I knew that I had a problem, but I didn't feel like I had a flat. And for some reason, the right rear tire blew out going down into turn 3. You can see it here on the ground. It's just exploded going down the backstretch. I was like 2 or 3 seconds off the pace, was losing a lot of time. But I didn't have a soft tire, so I'm not really sure what happened or why. But either way, you know, we're out of this deal. And I feel terrible for all the guys at Lowe's, Hendrick Motorsports, but I'm very proud of them and proud of everyone. We put up a strong fight, and that's big-time auto racing. This stuff happens.
Did you feel yourself run over anything at any point, Jimmy, or anything that would have told you that it might be a tire situation?
No, when I took off from that restart, I started going backwards in a hurry. And I just thought that, you know, we adjusted on the car because it was getting dark and that the car was just a little too free. And then about 4 or 5 laps after that, I knew there was something big, and I was trying to get to a caution. Unfortunately, we were the caution.
Dejectedly, Chad radioed in, you know, thank you and let's go home. Are they going to try to fix this and get you back out there?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at things. Calipers are blowing off. There's quite a bit of work, so I'm not sure what we'll be up to. You know, we wanted the big trophy. We don't care about anything else.
And your thoughts on that now, Jimmy, that it is over?
You know, I look back at the season and we did everything we could. So I'm disappointed, but very proud of my team and everybody involved. Lowe's and the support they give us, Hendrick Motorsports, and the hard work they put into this season. Just too bad. You know, we'll be back next year.
A lot of hard work from this 48 team. They will repair and send Jimmy back out for a few final laps this year.
Thanks, Dave. Good job back there. There's the championship leader, Tony Stewart, 9th last time by.
As he was in the middle of a mess.
I was going to say, he's trying to get out of that mess right now. He's trying to get through this bunch of traffic right now he's in the middle of.
What happens in NASCAR rules when you restart and you're 9th? That means you restart in 18th, and the 9 cars on the inside are there because most of them are slower than you are. Look at Ryan Newman. Where did he come from battling for the lead in that 12 car?
On the bumper of Carl Edwards. Newman down low.
Well, I think he's got to run. Slide up in front. Yep. And there again, I think the 99 car seems to be, it looks like he's a little bit loose in the middle in 3 and 4. But Newman took the spot. Marty.
Well, you drivers know a 12.5 second pit stop, that never hurts things, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that was the case for Ryan Newman. Excellent stop by the Alltel guys. Car's been way too tight for Ryan. The problem, the longer they run, the tighter this race car gets. He tries to run that middle groove you see him running in turns 3 and 4. That's by the advice of Roger Penske, who has said, you're much better up there. He's able to take the lead. Let's see if he can hang on to it, though.
Well, let's see if he can.
We've seen the 12 car. He's really good early for about 10 or 15 laps, and then it looks like the competition becomes faster than the 12 car.
And this guy right here in the 99 car looks the best after those 15 or 20 laps.
And this lap.
Don't let him squeeze you.
Oh!
Bobby Hudson, the spotter for Carl Edwards.
We'll get him in time.
Doesn't get any closer than that, folks.
It doesn't. Just want to get in. We are past halfway. Lap 134 was the halfway mark.
99's got a good run off, but usually guy on the high side's got the momentum.
And again,
I think Newman had enough, really. I think Newman may have backed off a little bit there just to. But go ahead and take that spot for now.
Because while they were racing, Jeff Gordon, who was probably a second behind them, is closed up on the back bumper of the 12 car. And Newman saw that and said, wait a minute. Why are we letting the 24 car get back in this race?
because I saw how good he was.
Yes.
Casey Mears is 4th, Mark Martin 5th. Championship leader Tony Stewart 9th. Jimmy Johnson has crashed and gone to the garage. He is out of contention for the championship. It's part of how the day has gone for the 4 guys that came in pursuit of the Nextel Cup championship.
Well, Carl Edwards, the 99 car of the top 4, obviously has had by far the best day. But Bill Weber just told you a moment ago, we're halfway. A lot of things can happen.
And we don't know what's going to happen because this series has never raced on this track at night.
Here's Tony Stewart.
He just lost 2 spots, a 9 car, and 07 just gotten by him, Alan.
Yeah, Benny, remember when Tony Stewart won his first championship a few years ago, 2002, in the season finale here at Homestead? He came in leading Mark Martin by 89 points, needing to finish 22nd or better. Remember where he finished that day? 18th. They struggled in that final race. Here Tony comes in needing to finish 9th or better on the day. You can't exactly say they've had a rocket ship and run to the front in this one, but they're doing pretty much what they need to do for the moment. He's running in 11th, trying to keep tabs on Carl Edwards, still fighting that condition, wanting his car to turn better in the corners.
And he's only got 2 guys now to keep track of with Johnson out.
Well, that's right. He had to finish 9th or better to beat Jimmy Johnson.
Right.
But now the number probably falls back to 20th or better to beat Carl Edwards.
9th or better clinches for Stewart. As Benny talked about, based on coming in with Johnson being 2nd in the championship standings. And in 18 of the last 20 races, Tony has finished 9th or better. Tony Stewart.
And Stewart's just riding. I mean, he's just riding right now.
And watching the scoring monitor, he could fall back to 20th and still be tied with Carl Edwards for the lead in NASCAR Nextel Cup points. So he's got plenty of cushion.
Alan?
Well, BP, I want to debate you just a little bit on that, because as we've watched that point monitor all day with Carl Edwards running as well as he has, there's not a lot of margin for error there. Tony's not so much riding right now as he's taking what his car will give him. They continue to adjust on the car every pit stop, looking to make it better. He's trying not to drive over the car's capability and spin it out and crash, but right now he's taking what the car will give him, and right now he's got about a 10th or 11th place car that they continue to work on.
And with all the constantly changing map, BP, you're right. If Edwards wins and leads the most laps, then Stewart's magic number is 20th.
Thank you.
There you go. You happy now?
Yeah.
Way to come through, big guy.
Thank you.
That's the former champ delivering the map from the Ford 400 in Homestead.
Oh, here we go. Now the leader, they're 3 wide in front of Casey Mears. That's good.
No, that's not good. That's
No,
not
it's
good for Casey.
Casey now inside of Kyle Petty.
And Michael Waltrip, they're 3 wide.
And Mark Martin
Right
sees all
there.
this. Yeah, he's like, all right.
Because I know that Casey Mears can't run a fast lap around all that traffic.
Mears the race leader, Martin 2nd, Carl Edwards 3rd, Gordon 4th, Greg Biffle 5th. Tony Stewart continues to run in the 13th position.
Mark made up about a 2nd that lap, just because Casey Mears was hung up in that traffic.
48 laps to go. One more pit stop will get all these teams to the checkers.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, BP.
They got to stop one more time. When do you think that'll be?
Yeah, for the leader, Casey Mears, it's going to be about lap 227, but Tony Stewart just called in just to tell you how that his car's handling has gone away. He just called in to Greg Zipadelli and said, hey, Bud, when can we stop? Greg Zipadelli told him about 10 more laps. And you guys know that when a race is running green and you're in the situation Tony Stewart is, the call to bring that car on pit road under green is just fraught with peril.
Oh, yeah, you can't stop till everyone stops.
Because if you come under green, you're certainly concerned the caution will come out and burn you.
Yeah, and every lap that Tony stays out there, now that the car's gone bad, it's just going to get worse and worse every lap. The car is going to be slower and slower every lap, and he's going to lose a lot of track time.
I mean, Robbie Gordon, the 7 car, closing in on Tony Stewart. And Rusty Wallace in the 2 car, 2 more positions. They'll put Tony back to the 15th spot. But he's still okay. 15th is okay.
Casey Kane on pit road, Allen.
Might have been an early stop for a vibration is the initial report I'm getting. I'm going to confirm that. I just ran into their pit, but it's going to be a 4 tire change and a chassis adjustment for Casey Kane, who pitted from 6th position. And we'll get a look and see what comes off the car tire-wise as well.
45 laps to go. If they all pit under green and then we stay green, this will be their last chance to make the car better. They'll all be able to get to the finish on fuel this time. What'd you find out, Alan?
just to confirm, Casey said he had a vibration, and that's why they pitted a few laps early, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Whoa. Hang on.
Want to get up there in a hurry, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was trying to get up in a hurry, and on that flat apron of the racetrack, that could be bad news.
Mears the race leader, about 4 or 5 laps from coming to pit road under green.
Look how good those fresh tires operate. He just drove by the 77 of Quapple and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 with no problems.
Kane hopes it stays green.
See Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, another car making a pit stop.
Mears, the teammate of McMurray. Last ride in the 41 car for Casey. Moved to another Ganassi car for 2006, looking for his first Nextel Cup Series win. He leads, Mark Martin second, Edwards third. It's now a 36-point lead for Tony Stewart over Carl Edwards. Stewart in the 13th spot on the track. If Edwards stays in the top 5, it would be about 19 positions. He'd have to finish ahead of Tony Stewart, knocking from the top of the championship standings. Jeff Gordon slows and heads for pit road. Lap 226. Gordon gives up the 4th spot.
This is a tough pit entry right here because you can make up or lose a lot of time on that access road. And it's very slick, very flat.
Because pit road speed begins at that line.
3/4 of a round.
See Steve Letarte telling his crew what he wanted to do on this stop.
He's heading for you, AB.
Track bar down a half.
Well, you hear him calling the adjustments as he comes to pit road, and that gives you just a small idea of how difficult the crew chief driver job is. I mean, they only have, what, 8, 9 seconds from when Jeff drops off the racetrack to make the decision on what to do to the car. If it's different than what they had been maybe thinking based on feedback from the driver. The track bar changed, the 4 tire change, Jeff Gordon's gone.
And a lot of times those last second changes are very small air pressure adjustments that they want to try and get done before the car gets to the pit stall.
Jeff Burton, 31 car, singular car, going down pit road. You're the leader. Casey Mears is on pit road. Casey, don't spin out. Don't get in the grass and spin out. You've got to get in pit road.
Keep on coming. Keep on coming. Good.
Both too slippery.
You were right.
Because once he went across that commitment line in turn 3, he had to come down pit road or be penalized by NASCAR.
Straight shot in, a straight shot out.
Headed for you, Alan.
Yeah, and now, you know, the pressure from Casey Mears trying to make his last pit stop right as a driver to try and perhaps get that first Nextel Cup win. Now those 7 and now 8 men over the wall. The pressure on their shoulders. Make it perfect. 20 lug nuts on, 20 lug nuts off. Look like they had a little trouble on the right front tire. Get Casey out as quickly as you can, but more importantly, make no mistakes.
That was about a little over a second slower than Gordon's pit stop. So we'll see where this shakes out.
Now it's really up to Mark Martin's crew to pull off a 13-second stop. If he can, that's 2.5 seconds. And here comes Mark. He's coming to pit road.
And get all you can get right here on the access road without making a mistake, which Mark won't make a mistake because he doesn't normally make mistakes.
He did get his 5 bonus points.
He almost spun out. And the 99 car right behind him coming down pit road. Matt?
And BP, you saw the graphic, he had a 17-point advantage over Jimmy Johnson, who's out of the race. That 5 points for leading adds to it. Clean windshield from Mark Martin. Now he says the car, he doesn't want any changes on this final run. It's going to be a short run. Left side tires going on. Solid stop so far. It's full of fuel. He's down and away.
13.5. Great run.
Matt, the 99 team, 3 stops today under 13.5. They certainly need one here under green flag conditions. They're going to put a half a round in the right rear. They're also going to take that pound out of both left side tires for the 99 bunch. Carl talked about how this car was very tight on this one. Different car than it was earlier in the race. 14.8 on the stop. Alan?
Tony Stewart's crew chief Greg Zipadelli calling him in on the same lap as Carl Edwards with a caution to come out before the cycle of pit stops finished that might minimize the championship damage. Interesting thinking. 4 tire stops of adjustments as well for Tony Stewart, looking to get him through these final 36 laps to perhaps a championship. Matt?
Last shot for Greg Biffle's team to try to free his car up. The wedge adjustment already completed, as well as an air pressure adjustment. He is away.
These pit stops happening under green, 36 laps to go, the championship in the balance.
45 miles per hour, the speed limit down pit road.
Kevin Harvick gives up the race lead to come to pit road. This is the last opportunity to make your car the best it can be for a sprint to the finish, Dave.
His car went backwards in the last run, Bill, because an adjustment made the opposite effect that they expected. Drove his way back to the top 10. Now pitches a leader in succession. Will make a change for a little bit of a tight race car. Air pressure increased in the right rear tire.
Good stop for the 29 bunch. So Harvick heads back out on the track. Sterling Marlin scored the race leader.
Now these guys, this is probably where it shake out. Once everybody makes pit stop, Martin will be in the lead, and Casey Mears will be in second. Ooh, Martin slides up the racetrack a little bit loose there. That's all it took.
And a 41 car, Casey Mears, really, really good tonight.
And they had a slower pit stop too, about 2 seconds slower than some of these other guys that have been running up front.
Looks like that the 41 car is fast enough to make that up that difference.
Ten drivers have led today.
Look at him go by Newman.
Carl Edwards has clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. So bonus points during the chase. Tony Stewart 50 and Carl Edwards 30, including 10 today.
In Ryan Newman, that unscheduled stop with the left side tires, he currently is running in the 4th position, but I'm sure that he has to stop again before the race is over.
Marty?
BP, you're exactly right. They have to pit around lap 250 or so with about 17 to go. That's when they're looking at bringing Ryan to pit road.
All you can do now, the 12 car Ryan Newman, just hope that the caution flag, something would happen on the track and NASCAR would throw the caution flag before he has to pit again. That would get him back in sequence.
Sterling Marlin has given up the race lead. He's coming to pit road, Dave.
And said just about nothing on that race car during the last run. His crew going around to the left side now. A 4-tire change for Sterling. Trying to make, as you mentioned, the final adjustments they can to give Sterling the best finish they can. Leaves pit road.
Joe Nemechek scored as the race leader. He got 5 bonus points, but he's still got to make his stop. So Nemechek will head for pit road. Casey Mears inherits the lead. Our last green flag commercial break from Homestead. Tony Stewart won the 2002 championship by 38 points over Mark Martin. Right now he leads by just 30 points over Carl Edwards. And here's how the story is shaping up. Mears leads, Mark Martin runs second. Carl Edwards, second in the standings right now, runs third. Tony Stewart runs 15th, but behind him a pack that includes guys like Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Dale Jarrett. And if that pack was to catch and pass Tony, it could be an issue.
And Stewart's only about a half a straightaway, 3/4 straightaway from being lapped. He's got the 41 of Mears in his mirror.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is 1 lap down in 17th position.
Right.
Casey Mears has just passed him. And the 42 of McMurray. 88 of Dale Jarrett. Also the 7 car of Robbie Gordon.
Now there's Stewart. He's coming to the start-finish line now.
Casey Mears at the start-finish line now.
So Mears can see Stewart on the straightaways. And when he looks in the mirror, Stewart can see Mears.
There you see it. Tony Stewart is 28.39 seconds behind Casey Mears.
And they're turning about 32-second laps.
Which means Mears is only about 4 seconds behind Stewart and running much quicker laps.
Casey. Mark Martin still lurking back there in that second position, less than 1 second behind Casey Mears.
The surprise in the late stages of this race, Carl Edwards has not been able to advance his position. 3.5 seconds behind race leader Casey Mears. An update on Mark from Matt.
Pat Tricenville keeps giving Mark the difference between himself and the leader, and also keeps coaching him, keeps trying to pump him up. Mark responded by saying, I'm not getting through the lap cars as well as he is. They're holding me up a little bit. Snyder?
Well, Matt, the thought on Carl Edwards, following up on what Bill was saying, is that they just really have not kept up enough with a changing racetrack, a little bit tighter now than it has been earlier. They also think they made some contact earlier with Joe Nemechek. They didn't see a whole lot of damage on the left side. They did pull out a little bit of left side damage when they made some contact with Nemechek earlier on the last pit stop, and that also may be affecting the handling of the race car.
Wait, see a big wheel mark right there behind his left front wheel. So he did bounce off to somebody.
Doesn't take much body damage to upset the handling of these race cars.
But the 99 car has clinched the most laps led, so he will get those 5 bonus points. He is going to pick up 10 bonus points that Tony Stewart will not get.
See the wheel mark right there in front of the 99. Shouldn't really affect anything there, though.
If that had been in front of the left front tire, that would have been big problems.
Tony Stewart, the last car on the lead lap. Right now, if Tony finishes 25th or better, he will win the championship based on Edwards currently running 3rd. Stewart, the last car on the lead lap in the 15th position.
So all Tony's got to do is keep this thing together for the next 18, 19 laps, and he will be home free.
5 wins this season in a 7-race stretch. Late June, July, into early August. You not only couldn't beat him, you couldn't get close to him. Drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. Trying to get his 2nd series championship. Alan?
Well, Bill, Joe Gibbs Racing, obviously its founder and namesake is the famous football coach. That is J.D. Gibbs. Caution flag is out. We'll come back to that story.
Because this could change a lot of things. Certainly it protects Tony on the lead lap. He was 29.5 seconds behind Mears. Only about 2 seconds away from getting lapped. 16 to go.
Now then, crew chief, you stop, you change 2 right side tires. Tires look to be very, very important. I can't imagine that some of these cars will not stop. Only 15 cars on the lead lap.
The caution.
Let's do 4. We got a good pit stall. Let's do 4.
That's the number. Yeah. Just want to get in. The caution is for debris in turns 3 and 4. Now the day is gone for the 4 guys that came in still eligible for the Nextel Cup. 25th or better now for Stewart to win it based on Carl Edwards finishing 3rd. Jimmy Johnson is out of the race. He crashed out.
Had a right rear tire go flat on him. He backed her in the fence in turn 3.
Well, sure wouldn't want to be sitting in 1st spot right now.
Well, here's the thing. There are a lot of guys in this race that have nothing to lose.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be people coming in, but when you're the leader,
You guys are so good on left side. We got a good pit stall.
sometimes
I think we
whatever
can
you
do
do, everybody's going to do the opposite.
And when they restart this race with just a few laps to go, I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't another caution flag.
This race has been run at a record pace with 15 to go.
That's what they keep inserting in those springs. That's a spring rubber that they keep inserting to change the handling characteristics of these race cars. Obviously, one of them fell out. Well, so far, looks like most everyone has decided to come on to pit road.
The question's going to be some of these guys in the back if they take just 2 tires.
Yeah.
Could Tony Stewart stay out?
But Ryan Newman, and we know how good he is on these short runs, he is back on the lead lap.
Matt Yoakum.
And Greg Biffle comes to a stop, talking about a 2-tire change for the 16 as well as his teammate the 6 of Martin. Lug nuts are on. Both are away. Allen.
And Casey Mears going to get right side tires only. Long debate whether to pit or to stay out. You're always the one having to make the tough decision as the leader. Marty?
Alan, just like he promised at Texas, Carl Edwards told his guys, listen, if you get me out in the top 5, I will win this race, but I need 4 tires, Carl. A little too tight for Carl, and they will not be in the top 5 after this stop, guys.
No, not when everybody takes 2. But he's going to have an awfully fast race car for 10 laps.
11 to go, and the championship on the line. Mark Martin to the inside of Blaney, trying to follow Joe Nemechek.
Nemechek is a lap down in that 0-1 car.
Mark couldn't get it done, falls in behind Blaney. Dave Blaney, a driver looking for a ride for next season. And here comes Edwards charging through the field.
See that cape?
Oh, he goes by Jeff Gordon. He goes by Harvick.
He's going to go by a lot of guys because he's got 4 price. A lot of these cars have 2. He's going to be a rocket.
2.4 seconds behind the race leader.
And Dave Blaney is driving away from these guys. Talking about Mark Martin, Casey Mears, Greg Biffle. Alan?
Hey, just to follow up quick, BP, I had a conversation with Greg Zipadelli. They did try in the very last second leave Tony out to get 5 points, but they didn't realize Dave Blaney had stayed out in front of them, and that was an attempt to get 5 points there. It was foiled by the 07 car.
Thanks a lot, Alan.
All Stewart's got to do right now is just stay on the racetrack. He's in 15th spot. 17th spot is a lap down. So if he just keeps running, he's safe.
Battle for the lead. Here comes Mark Martin on the inside of Blaney.
Martin.
Go get it. You're the man.
Pat Trosson encouraging Mark Martin to go get him. Marty.
BP, Dave Blaney's had a great car all evening long, just a little bit tight. Kevin Hamlin told me it was an easy decision not to pit for those guys. 3 wide.
Biffle
To the lead.
Man,
Where did he come from, Matt?
BP, I told you they keep working on that car, and Biffle knows that the 99, his teammate's coming. He's trying to lock in that 2nd spot in the points. What better way to do it? To win 2 years in a row is his cruise up on the wall.
I don't think Mark even knew he was coming.
And check this out. Matt Kenseth in the 17 car is in 3rd.
Roush cars run 1, 2, 3. 7 to go.
And Carl Edwards has moved into 7th position.
5 wins this season for Greg Biffle, looking for his 6th.
Well, Carl needs 1 more spot to take over Biffle, take over 2nd from Biffle, right?
Yes, that is correct. He's 3 points behind him.
So Edwards needs to get by Newman.
Well, who he's going to get by is Blaney, because Blaney's going the wrong way.
Right.
Well, here comes Mark Martin. He appears to be a little bit faster than Greg Biffle with just a few laps to go.
Biffle has gone 20 races without a win. His last victory was at Michigan in June.
Oh, Nemechek. I saw Nemechek up there sliding.
He's still about to wreck.
Biffle and Martin. Car owner Jack Roush. has won back-to-back series championships. Matt?
Eddie Pardue, the spotter for Mark Martin, is telling him which end of the racetrack. They feel like that Mark is better down in 3 and 4, but Biffle's better down in 1 and 2. This is going to be a close one to the finish. 4 to go.
Both these drivers made the chase for the Nextel Cup. This was going to be Mark Martin's farewell tour in NASCAR Nextel Cup racing. But Jack Roush needed a driver for that car for next year, asked Mark to stay. So Mark will make one more full circuit in the Nextel Cup series.
Mark got through turn 4 a little bit better than Biffle. If he can stay right there and get back to 3 and 4, he'll be able to make a move on him.
Tony Stewart runs 15th. That would lock up the championship.
Biffle was just a little bit better off at 2 that lap.
2 to go when they get to the line this time.
I think the last lap, Biffle about hit the wall on turn 4. Had to check up a little bit. Boy, Pat tries to, you hear he wants this, and he wants it so bad. But probably so does Doug Richards, crew chief for Greg Biffle.
Now Mark got through turn 2 awfully good that lap.
Lap and a half to go. Stewart still in 15th.
Smooth, one more time around.
Joel Edmonds, the spotter for the 16 car.
Goes to the bottom, picking up the throttle. Got a pretty good run. He's there, right beside him.
Last lap of the season. Teammates Mark Martin and Greg Biffle fighting for the lead while Tony Stewart tries to hang on to his position to clinch the championship.
Oh, this is going to be good off of 2.
This has been Biffle's sweet spot off the second corner.
Mark's there.
He's there.
And I think Mark's been better in 4.
Looks that way.
See if he can hold on. Boy, Biffle drove in deep.
Will it stick?
Oh, he's sliding up the track.
Out of 4, they come to the line. Wow! Greg Biffle wins the race. Watching for Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart is the 2005 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
And Greg Biffle, the first thing he asked, are we second in NASCAR Nextel Cup points?
And the boys are ready with lots of liquid for Greg Biffle. Winner for 2 years running now at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And a whole lot of confetti, too. Crew Chief Doug Richard coming in to say congratulations. Let me help you out here, my friend. There we go. That's much better. Talk about racing your teammate there at the end, and he was trying all kinds of lines on you, too.
Yeah, he was. I'll tell you what, racing Mark Martin like that, veteran guy, you know, we're gonna miss Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd in this series. I'll tell you what, they're 2 icons, and John Reiser, you know, Robbie lost John this week, but so excited to have National Guard posted at 3M, everybody on board all year. These guys just a great job. This car just wasn't what it needed to be in all night, and really worked out. Congratulations 20 team. You know, they were troopers all year, and I don't know if it would have come down to that loose wheel at Texas or not, but it was going to be awful close.
You knew you had to win and lead laps to get the championship tonight, Greg. How proud are you that your team was able to do that?
Oh, man, I mean, unbelievable. I'm just so proud of the whole organization. These motors that, you know, Yates Roush build, I mean, the engine department is unbelievable and just fantastic. Just excited to go spend some time on my new lures boat. I just can't wait.
And the Nextel Cup Championship trophy. Well, Tony, championship number 2. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Your thoughts?
Just excited. So happy that I could get Zippy this championship and do it the right way for him instead of with the hell that I put this team through in 2002. So just a nice way to get it done tonight.
Well, let's talk about tonight. It wasn't the race you were looking to have. Tell me about your evening.
Just where we were just way too tight all night. We could start off a little on the free side and just never got the balance. We kept sneaking up on it, but we knew we were better being a little too tight than we were being too free, so we just made small changes, and we could have done more to be more aggressive with it, but you know, we did what we needed to do and just kept our mind on the big prize tonight. We knew we didn't have a car good enough to win, so just did what we had to do to win this championship.
Now on the stage, we're going to make some presentations for you, Smoke. First, allow me to introduce the president of NASCAR, Mr. Mike Helton. Mike.
Thank you, Alan. Tony, on behalf of all of NASCAR, we're proud to have you as our champion one time again. Congratulations to you, Coach Gibbs, JD, Greg. All y'all did a heck of a job all year long. We're proud to have you as our champion. We're looking forward to celebrating with you in New York. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike. And now the series sponsor, the chairman of Sprint Nextel, Mr. Tim Donahue.
Tony, on behalf of Sprint Nextel, congratulations. I'm privileged to hand you a check for $5.8 million as the 2005 Nextel Cup champion. Congratulations, man. Well done. Well done.